I am 100% going to only be talking about one song for this video. I cannot be the only person that's found a song that they really enjoy, they really connect with, and then they feel like there's a deeper meaning, or maybe they find their own meaning in the song, and they're curious about it, so they go look it up on the internet, and they found out the person who wrote the song meant absolutely nothing by it. It was just like a fluff song, or I guess not a fluff song in this case, but basically a song that means nothing. I was so very disappointed when I did research on this song. Mixed Sinister by IDK, How But They Found Me, which is too long of a band name if you ask me. And yeah, this song did come out in 2021 and I did not hear it until last night. But here's the thing. I wasn't allowed to listen to anything besides the Beatles and country music until I moved out of my parents' house. So I'm a little bit behind on discovering a lot of music. My first few years outside of my parents' house was mostly dominated by Fall Out Boy, Simple Creatures, My Chemical Romance, and Panic at the Disco. But not new Panic at the Disco, only old Panic at the Disco. At this point, I'd rather die than listen to any of the new Panic music. And like I said, last night I heard it for the first time and I really enjoyed it, I really liked it. And I think right here is where I'm going to give my warning. If you haven't heard the song yet and you want to go listen to it, or if you would like to continue with the rest of this video, we're going to be talking about some pretty heavy themes: stalking, murder, mutilation, assault, breaking and entering, basically all kinds of horrible things. And to summarize all of my thoughts about the song into one little succinct sentence, it feels like the writers of this song missed the point of the song, especially with the changing of Mr. Sinister to Mix Sinister, which we'll talk about later on. It just feels like the song has such a deep emotional point that they purposely tried to avoid. In an interview with the lead singer, he's quoted as saying, "There are countless books and films on the subject. Even when they're fictional, they still touch upon very real circumstances that people actually have," which shows that he knows that this is a real common thing that happens to people, so it's not ignorance that the point is missed in the song, I feel like. The narrator of the song is a stalker who then follows their victim home, breaks into their house, and then kills them. Literally rips them apart, Jack the Ripper style. This song is not a very long or very detailed song. There's 1.5 verses, and it's mostly just the refrain over and over again. And if the refrain wasn't the way it is, I don't think I would have found any deeper meaning in this song at all. I would have just been like, oh cool, spooky song. But the refrain itself is really what makes me feel like there was a bigger point that could have so easily been made and was so easily taken from this 1.5 verses. Because the refrain is literally the person being super creepy, saying that no matter what the other person's gonna do, they're going to get them. And it ends with, "I'm not the sinister type." The lyrics are, "I'll get you yet, I've got to make you mine, just so you know I'm not the sinister type." And that phrase is repeated a lot, that's the majority of the song. And I don't know how you could write that lyric and not see the parallels between the nice guys who won't take no for an answer. The parallels between the real world atrocities that these kinds of men actually do, that the singer acknowledged actually happens. There are so many men that feel like they're entitled to sex, to love, to romance, and they do shit like this. They stalk you, they break into your house, they murder you and rip you apart. So, I'm sure you're asking, the singer admitted that this happens in real life, why am I mad? Or why am I frustrated with the fact that he didn't explicitly say that's what the song is about? It's what he did say it was about. It's a fictional story about misguided infatuation, the kind that can lead to some very dark places. What? It's so surface level, I guess. It's so toothless. It's lacking actually saying anything. This song that could have such a deep and intense message behind it literally means and says absolutely nothing about the world. It's just kind of ooh, spooky story. And that's fine to have a just song that's kind of creepy just to be creepy, and it's not really meant to have any deeper meaning. It was just really disappointing. I just feel like it's so very disappointing to hear a song that so clearly should have a point to it, not actually have a point at all. And it does bother me that they changed it to Mix instead of leaving it as Mr. Sinister. Stalking, murders, kidnapping, those are crimes that are most likely going to be committed by a man. That's just fact. We're not even going to be talking about assault in this video, but strictly murders. Men make up 95% of murders. The amount of people killing other people are overwhelmingly men. In the interview, it's noted that they purposely changed it from Mr. to Mix, in order to give the character a sense of ambiguity and to take out any sense of binary gender. So instead of giving this person a gender, they made them non-binary, which is not the kind of representation I was asking for, honestly. But second of all, I don't understand why you would do that. Again, it makes the whole statement that this song could have had completely toothless. This song has absolutely no bite to it because it means nothing. Making the narrator of the song is not only probably accurate based on statistics, but it actually reflects life more. It adds in that social commentary that this song literally just doesn't have any of. In the lyrics itself, the song literally doesn't say anything, it's just like a spooky story. And since they aren't even like attempting to say anything with the song, it's kind of like, it feels like a nothing song. They made a spooky song just to make a spooky song, which is fine. Again, it's just very disappointing. Are there people who are not men that have unhealthy obsessions with other people? Yes. Are there people that are not men that commit murders? Yes. But that's most likely not the case. And going so far as to change the title makes it feel like men are on the same playing field as everyone else, when really they are killing the majority of people. Cause really the message of the song just boils down to, ooh, spooky. When it could have been saying so much. This song reminds me of a nice guy who got told no and couldn't handle it. It reminds me of all those men that say it's not all men, or it's those people who are saying, well, I didn't commit murder, therefore I'm not a bad guy, while they're sexually harassing women. That's what this song feels like to me. This song feels like a man who got told no and feels like he's entitled to that woman anyway. And because he feels like he's entitled to that woman, he doesn't think there's anything wrong with killing her, therefore making him not the sinister type. There are so many men that are just like, well, at least I don't beat my kids, at least I don't beat my wife. I can't be a bad guy because I haven't physically assaulted a woman, but I sure have sexually harassed them. Or you'll have men that are like, well, I've never raped someone, but I definitely did cover for a rapist, but I can't be a bad guy. That's what this song feels like to me. But instead, the messaging behind it is just kind of like, whoa, wacky. Not wacky. Not silly. I don't know. I don't mind there being songs that literally mean nothing. I don't mind that. You can't have your black parades without your Don't Threaten Me with a Good Time. You can't have those really deep Fall Out Boy songs without those like pop punk, mostly pop, bubblegummy, Brendan at the Disco kind of songs. Not every single song is gonna have this super deep, well thought out meaning, but at the same time, when you're talking about something like this, that so clearly has ties to the real world, why would you pussyfoot around having an actual meaning to your song? It honestly almost feels like a deliberate misunderstanding of what's been going on in the world. Again, I don't mind there being songs with no meaning. I don't mind that this is a song with no meaning. I'm just disappointed. I do like the song. That probably has not been clear throughout this entire video, but I do like the song. It's just, I don't understand why they had to take all of the bite out of it. It could have been such a good statement, and instead it's literally nothing. This song could have been a good commentary on the way the world works, on the way men behave, on the way men should behave, or the way they behave around other men, about how the way men have been behaving and interacting with each other and women and other people have just made it worse for them. It's just kind of a letdown, you know? So like, I know I've been clowning a lot on Panic at the Disco in this video, but that's because I was such a big fan of them. For like 2 or 3 years in a row, I was like in the number 1 percentile of Spotify listeners, or whatever they tell you in your Spotify Wrapped, how they're like, you're in the top whatever percent. I was in the top 1% of Panic at the Disco listeners for like 3 years. But then I found out how much of a shithead Brendan Urie was, and I was devastated. I mean, honestly, I should have been expecting it, but it's still wasn't good. Now I'm in the top 1% of My Chemical Romance listeners, so. Anyway, the song's not bad. I like the song just fine. I'm just disappointed. I know there's a lot of like emo or pop punk songs that just kind of amount to my heart's broken and I'm sad, my parents are mean to me and I'm sad. And I understand those have their place, and they are like, if you don't want to listen to a heavy song, then you don't have to. But it's just, it was right there. Even if you weren't planning on the song having that meaning in the first place, you could have pretended it was right there. But instead you changed it to include all genders instead of specifically say that men commit murders. And it's just, I don't know, it's giving not all men vibes, and I don't like it. I wanted to talk about My Chemical Romance this week. That's what I wanted to talk about. I listened to every single My Chemical Romance song on Spotify almost every single day this week, and Spotify finally just kicked me off that playlist and gave me this song instead. So that's how you got this video. Spotify forced this song upon me, and now you are forced to listen to me rambling. Or I guess you were forced if you finished this video. It's a good song. I'm still gonna listen to it. I'm just disappointed.